we dedicate this to Sunny and sunshine in everybody's life, okay? Love and sunshine, all that stuff, and inspiration, following your dreams, etc. It's sort of like a little funky, smooth and funky here.
So, and he won. You no.
Talking about us, the police officer. He said it was recommended for 52 minority kids. We pointed to the police. They would say, more police officers tonight out on
Robert Rosencrantz, his case is so good because it's so clear that if you could get a favorable decision from the Supreme Court or not
I will be introducing them and presenting the rest of the program of the high school students. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to welcome Minister Presiding Justice James Arez to the report pointing out this historic visit. Good morning, Mr. Chief Justice, Associate Justices of the California Supreme Court. On behalf of the justices of the 5th Appellate District and the citizens of Central California, and in fact all of California, I would like to welcome you to the Central Valley in this historic session. With the televising of the session to the public and the opportunities and outreach to our students as part of the session, the Supreme Court has provided an historic opportunity for our citizens and our young people to see the judicial branch conducting the people's business. The operational, of course, is the people's business. The California Supreme Court is the highest court in the largest judicial system in the world. Efforts like this to allow the world to see our justice system significantly enhance the trust our citizens have in their justice system. A justice system that is open and accessible to the public, to be seen and to be heard, is a hallmark of a free and democratic society.
May it please the Court, Michael Schwartz, Deputy District Attorney for Kansas following. The constitutionality of Penal Code Section 148.6 should be upheld because it does not create a protection for the unique police officers. 148.6 fills a gap in Penal Code Section 148.5 as complementary to it. Penal Code 148.5 is the general section that prohibits making a false accusation of a crime. In two cases, the court has held that 148.5 does not apply to police officers. That's Pena versus Municipal Court and Pena versus Craig. And specifically in Pena, the court makes its decision on its belief that the legislature did not intend for 148.5 to apply to police officers. So the legislature responded to eliminate this exception, to close the loophole, if you will. And they said, yes, as a matter of fact, we do want to protect police officers from false complaints. And so we enacted Penal Code 148.6. So the net effect then is that if a person makes a complaint that a teacher, either a student, that would be a violation of Penal Code Section 148.5, which is false. If a person made a false claim that a judge should be bribed, that would be a violation of Penal Code 148.5. If we had a situation where it was a peace officer, that a peace officer could be bribed, that would be a violation of 148.6 instead of 148.5, but the effect is the same. It's the same punishment
Does it matter if the alleged conduct against the police officer occurs while on duty as opposed to off duty? And if so, how do you distinguish the San Diego police officer's case? But she used to say that only on-duty conduct is actually.
It does, 148.6 does seem to be limited to on-duty conduct.
Is that something this court needed to address in its opinion? Or does it make any difference?
I suppose the officer were completely acting on his own. Was it a backyard barbecue? Is it some crime that had nothing to do with his duties as a peace officer, then 148.5 should apply. 140 in human credit, the court seems to be saying that it's a complaint of misconduct pursuant to 832.5. It's made to the employing law enforcement agency. That is covered by 148.
So let's say an off-duty police officer is involved in a traffic accident with a citizen on that emerges a complaint. The citizen which goes down to the station, does 148.6 apply to that particular type of complaint?
If the complaint was made to the employing law enforcement agency, then 148.6 would apply. And claimants in human credit, 148.5 would not apply.
Even at the time that it was off-duty?
That's my reason. If there's a citizen complaint against a peace officer, as I understand it, 148.5 would not apply. And this 148.6 would not apply either in the San Diego case.
And under 832.5 is the agency obligated to investigate all types of complaints that are off-duty or on-duty?
It seems to, yes, it doesn't just go under it. But I don't think it should make any difference that the legislature, they could have amended 148.5 to say that this includes complaints against peace officers. Instead, they enacted a new section with a new number. And I don't think that the number would make any difference here for constitutional purposes.
Mr. Schwartz, in this case, we have a law that says that anyone who files a false claim, knowingly doing so, is guilty of misdemeanor. Now, the argument on the other side is that this is a violation of First Amendment speech rights. And I would like to hear from you, and presumably you would cite relevant U.S. Supreme Court law as to why, from your standpoint, this particular provision does not violate free speech rights.
In Gertz versus Robert Wells Incorporated, the United States Supreme Court said that there's no constitutional value in false statements of fact. In Garrison versus Louisiana, the United States Supreme Court said that deliberate lies by every single part of any exposition license, they do not enjoy constitutional protection. So we're dealing with a deliberate lie that is outside of the First Amendment.
And as you may know, there are also cases, I don't think you mentioned in response to me that the RAB case decided by the High Court, and I would acknowledge that reading that particular case isn't very easy. It has three categories, but it would also appear to me that the second category that the High Court articulates in our case may have some application here. You may recall that as the second category, the High Court said that laws that discriminate based on content are laws which the prescribable speech happens to be associated with particular secondary effects of speech, blah, 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 blah. And according to the court, that is okay. Now, I would like to hear from you, just taking a look at that second category of high competition in RAB, why does the secondary effects category help your position?
I think if we look at it from the perspective of the employing law enforcement agency, if they are forced to extend a crime on a complaint, if even a person making a complaint knows it's true, they are wasting their resources. They could be used to investigate good faith complaints. They could be used to protect footwork officers out on the street or protect the public. I do it as an element of a false distress call. If someone says, my phone is sinking, and the Coast Guard goes out there, and meanwhile there's a real emergency somewhere else. You're diverting resources away from the legitimate work that these police departments are doing.
So you would distinguish?
Applying that in this particular case, your argument then is that unlike other complaints against public officials, in a case such as this, involving knowingly false complaints against police officers, the employee agency would be required to conduct an investigation And coming into place would be the provisions pertaining to record retention, etc., etc., and presumably the need to deter persons from invoking these procedures through the intentionally false complaint justifies the provision at issue here, which is, what is it, 148.6a.
I would agree with that. I'm sorry, 832.5 requires that law enforcement agencies investigate complaints of peace officer misconduct. So if you take 148.5, the general false report statute, and 148.6, together, that covers the universe of complaints that law enforcement agencies are required to investigate. And 832.5 only applies to peace officers. So it's not really a discriminatory thing. We're covering all the kinds of complaints that the law enforcement agency might have to investigate when we look at these statutes together.
And counsel, the IAB case says as to the secondary effects, the second section talks about that listeners' reactions to speech are not the type of secondary effects we referred to in prior cases. Would you distinguish between the agency and the officer being the listener in this type of case?
I think what you're talking about is that people might get mad if you have a rally or someone's popular political view that citizens might get riled about. I don't think you're talking about a drain of resources or a diversion of public funds as a reaction of a listener there. I think the other two exceptions to RAB apply also. The first exception, the basis for 148.6, is the same as the basis for defamation. We're dealing with a particularly egregious form of defamation here, which is known falseness. We're not talking about a reckless misstatement of fact or someone that's just wrong. We're talking about someone that deliberately lies. In the law for BPOsis, the court struck down something for 47.5, but they suggested that the statute might be okay if we limited it to acquisitions of harm.
Would you, or would it be your view that this particular statute, 148.6a, is akin to perjury statutes? And I presume you would take a position that this particular statute is a rather lenient perjury statute. As you know, as I know, as most of us know, there are all kinds of perjury statutes on the books. And you will recall a particular phrase that says a particular perjury statute is violating the Constitution's protection pertaining to free speech rights.
I'm not aware of examples that a perjury statute violates free speech. And every case that struck down Civil Code 47.5 also mentions that a perjury prosecution would be okay. In my brief and in the letter I submitted on October 1st, I discussed earlier in Code Section 11503, which provides the almost any license occupation in the state. The complaint by the member of the public has to be verified, which means if you lie, then you're definitely perjured. And to me, that's the equivalent of trying to cover the perjury statute by reference. I don't see how a constitution does any different than 148.6, which says if you lie, there's a criminal penalty.
Well, let me take you to that point, and I think you've touched it. I'd like to hear it again. Perjury covers the universe of false statements. This statute covers only knowingly false statements accusing a police officer of misconduct. This goes back to the RAB discussion, I guess, but would you respond to why this is all right?
Because 148.6 is not in isolation. It's not the only law out there that prohibits false statements. And this is essentially what the universe is. It's the universe complaints to a law enforcement agency. It's the complaints to an employment agency. It's the complaints about anybody involved. It's the complaints about public officers. 148.6 in isolation just goes to police officers.
No false complaints of misconduct by police officers.
Correct. It's counterpart to 148.5, which is normally false complaints that some other person has committed a crime. So we've got a distinction between crime versus misconduct. The misconduct is a little broader than crime. In P. and Craig, the court recognized that most police misconduct is a crime. Failing a prisoner, writing a false report. But I think if we look at 148.6, in conjunction with 148.5, in conjunction with all these licensing statutes, it isn't a unique statute, it's something special just for police officers.
So do we have to get to the RAD factors as exceptions, or we just take it based on the university describe it, there's no problem?
I don't think we even need to get to the exceptions, because I don't think it's a content-based restriction. The similar kinds of protections that anyone under these licensing statutes would receive. Real estate agents, physicians, doctors, manicurists, embalmers, optometrists, repossessors, locksmiths.
You're saying that there's the statutes that make it a misdemeanor to make a knowingly false statement by both professions?
Appellate, actually. Government Code 11503 says the member of the public wants to make a complaint about any of these licensed professions. They could result in the license being suspended or revoked. They must be verified. Verification means if you lie, then you can be prosecuted for perjury.
But the state statute doesn't require that the statement be made under oath, does it?
It does not. But it's the same effect. It says if you lie, you
Never had wings, but I know I can fly. It's one of those things I wanna try. So and beyond all of my limitations, so I can respond to all my relations. Music, it moves me like colorful thunder to a childlike place of beauty and wonder. I'm talking about love, phenomenal power. It's guiding my dreams every minute and hour. Love's the only thing in the world that's real. Now the dream is here to stay. I got all good things to say. It's gonna be sunny all day. You know, I'm dancing in the light. You know, love makes it all so bright. Take a little time to go outside and play. Lovers and poets and sleepers awaken. I know just like me, your heart's have been aching. Live out your dream, sharing the beautiful vision. Only choice we have is to make a decision. My heart's complete dedication. Get on below, sweet inspiration. And we'll all have wings. Go out and fly high. Hear us singing in the clear blue sky. Love's the only thing in the world that's real. Now the dream is here to stay. I got all the things to say. It's gonna be sunny all day. Love stepping into the night. You know, love makes it all so right. Take a little time to go outside and play. Never had wings, but I know I can fly. It's one of those things that I wanna try. So and beyond all of my limitations, so I can respond to all my relations. Love's the only thing in the world that's real. Now the dream is here to stay. I got all the things to say. It's like it's gonna be sunny all day. Love dancing in the light. You know, love makes it all so bright. Take a little time to go outside and play. The dream is here to stay. I got all the things to say. It's like it's gonna be sunny all day. You know, I'm dancing in the light. You know, love makes it all so bright. Take a little time to go outside and play. Take a little time to go outside and play. Take a little time to go outside and play. Sunny all day. Sunny all day. Sunny all day. Keep it going. Don't let your dreams fly away. Fly away. Sunny all day. Fly away. I'm gonna take it. Come on and get it with me now. Dancing across the universe. Oh, sunny all day. Sunny all day. Sunny all day. Sunny all day. Go outside. Go outside and play. Go outside and play. It's nothing about a soul. Really want to lose control. Really want to lose control. Really want to lose control with you now. Really want to lose control with you, mama. Lose control. Yeah. The best of the best here, folks. We got Mr. Tim on drums. He's rocking it away. I'm talking about religion here. I'm talking about religion. Religion right here. We got some more religion right over here. We got Mr. Andy Diaz here. Give me some religion now. Crossing the bridge to ecstasy. Why don't y'all come along with me? We got it, folks. We got the rhythm here. We want to thank y'all very much. It's been a pleasure. It's been a treasure. And dig it as it comes, man. Dig it as it comes. It goes by fast. And that's the way it goes. So we thank you from the bottom of our hearts, the bottom of our souls, the bottom of our drums, and rock and roll. Dig these guys, huh? Heart and soul, heart and soul, heart and soul. Sunny all day, sunny all day. Time to go outside and play. Take a little time to go outside and play. Take a little time to go outside and play.